Thanks everyone for joining me again for a wonderful episode of the Travel Collective. And today we're talking more about health and wellness. I think a lot of us, we start programs to lose weight maybe before we travel so that we can eat everything we want, or, we get back from a trip and we feel awful and beat out and fatigued. So I have Heather Wyatt here with me today to talk about health and wellness. So welcome, Heather.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
So tell me, your whole business is health and wellness, correct?
It is, yes. So I'm the founder of Wyatt Wellness, and under that, I offer holistic health and weight loss coaching. I also host Nourish and Flourish wellness parties locally in New Jersey currently, and now I'm adding retreats to the mix.
Ooh, nice. That's wonderful. So this is all very exciting and definitely ties into travel. So what are some strategies you have for people to stay healthy when they're traveling?
Like you just said, it's a big one. And people are usually doing it. People are kind of trying to diet and lose the weight before, but you don't want to go too overboard and kind of mess around with your immune system because you're going to need that immune system in check. But just between traveling, being on the plane, your change of schedule, you're going to be eating different things that you normally don't eat, especially if you're like me. I mean, I'm a regular person. I'm not magic because I'm a health coach. I like to have fun. I like to eat good food. So it's important to really take care of your body beforehand, as well as while you're away, as best as you can.
Yeah, most definitely. For long flights, do you have suggestions for people when you are taking these international flights, and you're taking a midnight flight, and some of us sleep. I don't know about you, but it's really hard to try to sleep on those planes, and sometimes I don't want to eat the food, but yeah, it's just that whole. Do you have suggestions for that?
Yeah, that's a big one. I'm not a big plane sleeper either, um, but I do get antsy. So I try to make sure I have my form of entertainment. I'm really bad at just watching a movie, the ones that they have to offer. So I kind of break it up. I'll watch like 20 minutes of a movie, I'll read a little bit of my book. But the big one, like you said, the food usually isn't that great. So I'm really big on bringing my own food. Some people are not. They're too good to do that, or they just, think it's weird. I'm a big fan of bringing my own food, my own snacks. I try to be gluten free. I'm probably like at this point 80% gluten free, but you can't find gluten free food on a plane.
No.
And it's really not good. So, although I will say the last flight I had going to Costa Rica on United, they had gluten-free options, and I was so proud.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's a first.
Yeah, because here I am making sure I have my little snacks with me, and they provided one, and that was so awesome to see. So maybe they're opting for healthier options instead of, those strudels. What are they
Yeah,
called?
I
Are
don't
they
know.
strudels?
Shrew waffle, those
Stroop
waffle,
waffles.
yeah,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Delicious, but they're just full of sugar and chemicals. And
Yes.
I sat eating one once and reading the ingredients, and I was mortified. I was like, this is terrible. But bringing your own food, definitely hydrating. That's another thing. They'll offer you, soda, coffee, juices. Hydrate. I don't know if people know this, but you can bring an empty water bottle with you through security and then fill it up after. Start hydrating at that point while you're waiting for the plane.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of that. And I hate to think how much salt and preservatives must be in those little meals that they feed you, because every time I see them delivered, I've gotten to the point now where it's like I just tell them no. Same thing. It's like just tell them no, because otherwise if it's in front of you, you're tempted to eat it. And then you
Mm-hmm.
don't feel good afterwards usually. So
Yeah, that's true.
do you have tips for adjusting people's sleep habits or things they should think about as far as, because I think sleep is a big part of staying healthy.
I definitely agree. I'm guilty of my schedule being all over the place when I'm traveling too, like most people. And I will tell you, I'm not the person to wake up and go to the gym when I travel. I wish I could tell you I did, but that's my time away from it. And I plan on that. However, with that being said, I don't have many trips where I'm just sitting around doing nothing. I kind of want to be, but it never works out that way.
Right.
You're walking to places, you're seeing things. So it's not like there's zero activity at all. Um, but trying to stay on some sort of schedule, even if it's not your normal home schedule, some type of schedule while you're away. Um, I know people like to stay out late and then they're sleeping in because they don't have to get up, but trying to keep it a little bit consistent is definitely super helpful. And the other thing I would recommend is I take vitamins when I'm home, also
Okay.
magnesium. Not to forget those, take those vitamins with you that you normally take at home. So you're not just shocking your body. If anything, your body's going to need more support since you're traveling. Magnesium is so good for sleep and to calm nerves. And I take that all the time before bed.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I hadn't heard that before. That's good to know.
Yeah, that's a good
Definitely.
one.
Yeah, but I do agree with like continuing to take vitamins, or sometimes I get what do you feel about some of those little tablets to put in your water that kind of have electrolytes and stuff like that?
Yeah, those two I would recommend. They have so many different ones now, and those are really good because some of them have the vitamins in them. I know the
Mhm.
kind I have has a bunch of B vitamins and caffeine. I like the ones with caffeine in them, especially
Oh,
if you're having alcohol, it might be helpful. Um, but the B vitamins are really good too. So I like to take those along with my vitamins too.
oh, that's good. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like the idea. I tell people all the time, just take an empty water bottle and take plenty of water because you can't drink enough water, I don't think, really.
Right, right.
And then what are some tips for, just exercising while, a lot of us do like to walk. I'm a big proponent when I go places and travel. I'm probably walking in some cases a little bit more than when I'm home, which is bad. It should be reversed. But are there other tips for, exercising or stretching, being on long flights that you might share?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you can, when you're on the plane, I mean, I'm sure everyone's heard just get up and move around if you can, especially if it's on a long flight. Um, but if you can, some people are diehard gym goers and they can get up easily and just go to the gym. But even if you don't want to do that, just walk places if you have the option. You get to see more things and explore and you take more in. But also, if it's not the gym, do fun, active stuff. I mean, some of the things I like to do, I mean, the recent activities I've done, I've been on an ATV. I mean, that
Mhm.
takes some work. Even though you're just riding a thing, it's pretty active. Going hiking in Costa Rica, my favorite place. Um, what else? Like even on a boat, I went on this boat. It's a party boat, but you're still like jumping off, going down slides. That's active. So it's not
Yeah.
exercise in the gym per se, but you're still up and about, like getting movement, but it's a fun, more fun kind of movement.
Right. And I know dance too. I think a lot of us forget that
Yes.
just
Yeah.
dancing is good. And I love it when I go places and somebody's playing music and you see all ages of people dancing. Like, don't feel bad. Just get up and move. Just dance.
I'm not a huge dancer, so that's why that slips my mind, but I'm so glad you said that because that's the perfect place to do it. It's, anywhere, I don't know, not anywhere you go, but most places you do go, especially if you're traveling, there's some form of dancing and entertainment and music. So if
Yeah.
that's your thing, like get up, have fun. I do agree with that. If you like it, don't sit there and be shy and say, "Oh, I have nobody to dance with." Um, have fun.
Yeah, just get up and do it. So the big question is food. I know a lot of people have trouble finding restaurants that serve, many of us have now found out that, we might be gluten intolerant or, we can't do dairy or we have other dietary issues. What are some tips for going to restaurants? Because not every restaurant may have, selections, or how do we find these places that will maybe adapt the menu?
I feel like there are options, many options now. I haven't been to too many places where I can't find anything to eat, especially if I'm sticking to gluten free. Um, but our phones are such great resources now. I mean,
Yeah.
they work everywhere we go. There's maps on there. There are apps on there. If you have certain, restrictions, there are vegan communities that will
Oh,
tell you
nice.
the vegan places. There are gluten-free apps out there that will tell you the gluten-free spots in a certain location. But also just ask people. Ask the people that work in the restaurant. Ask people around. They're going to know and they're going to tell you, unless you're somewhere not super friendly. I was going to say like France. France, but I just had a conversation with someone and they
Yeah,
told me France isn't a super friendly place.
right.
Because they were in New York and they were from France, and they're like, everyone is so nice here. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
They're yes, people aren't like that in France. And I'm like, really? I've heard they just don't like Americans. They said, no, they don't like anyone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see where that, yeah, you might have an issue there. But you did mention apps, and are there certain apps, doing your research ahead of time then, because somebody will have probably posted a review. I always look, you can search reviews for
Yes.
things.
Yeah. So if you know you're gluten free or you're a vegan or whatever it is, yeah, search for some kind of apps. I don't have them off the top of my head because there are a few I haven't used in a while, but there are apps, there are reviews, there's social media now.
Yeah.
I mean, we have so much knowledge at our disposal. I mean, use it. But it does take some research, like anything. The biggest thing with being healthy and making good choices is to be prepared and plan ahead a little bit.
Yeah, especially when it comes to meals or going, like we said, maybe to France. So that way, you will find that restaurant. There's got to be somewhere. I think it's becoming more prevalent. And I also find that more countries outside of the United States seem to be more health focused, oddly enough. I mean,
Yes,
they just don't even carry some of the products that sit on our grocery store shelves. They have much more, they're just all more about local, like, fruits, vegetables, things like that, which I think is fabulous.
right. Chances are, if you're going anywhere out of the country, you're automatically going to be eating healthier already than you are in the US.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about your retreats you have coming up. That sounds exciting.
Yeah, so this actually came up pretty spontaneously. Well, not too spontaneously. I knew I was going to do them, but I'm actually moving to Costa Rica October 1st. And so I started thinking, I was like, oh, wow, if we want to do something like in March, I should get a move on it because high season there runs from December through April.
Oh,
So
okay.
I thought March would be a good time. And so I put together two, one's towards the beginning, more towards the middle end, but they're two different styles of retreats.
Oh, nice.
So one will have, some yoga in the morning and some other like fun activities. I'm picturing that one to be a little more low key, downtime for journaling and reflection. And the other one I had in mind for more single women that want to travel, but aren't comfortable traveling alone. So that's more like your active, touristy stuff, not including yoga in that one. There'll be like a masseuse available if you're interested. Some of the comments I got when asking about it, well, does a retreat mean I can sit on a beach chair and drink margaritas? Sure, if that's what you want
Yeah.
the experience to be. I think that's also part of wellness because you're soothing your soul, you're de-stressing, you're happy. It's still serving a purpose. But they're both going to be full of intention. So I want everyone to be mindful what is it you're looking to get out of the trip?
Right.
You need to just go sit on a beach and meet other women and have that connection and drink a margarita, Or do you need that alone time, that yoga in the morning, that time in nature to go hiking by yourself or with other people? And to be intentional also when coming back, of
Right.
leaving behind something and also taking something new with you.
Oh, nice.
So even though the one isn't super wellness focused,
Right.
there's still a lot of intent behind it.
Right. Oh, I love that. That sounds fabulous.
And they'll both be in Costa Rica. They'll be in different parts. The first kind of more Margarita Beach tour one will be in Manuel Antonio. And then the other one will actually be in a beach town called Paco. And there are plenty of places in Costa Rica you could do. Some are more yoga-ish and, low key, but I wanted this to be a place that's walkable and you can kind of see different things, do different things, and experience some culture while you're there.
Oh,
Some of these
nice.
places, while they're beautiful, they can be very Americanized in a way also. And to me, when you're traveling, I think you should see different culture. I think that's part of the experience that gives you new perspective when you're going back home.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And a lot of times, we need that. We need to mix it up. We're too stuck maybe in where we're at in our life. And I think we're seeing a lot of that after, COVID was terrible, but for a lot of people, it forced them into this really reevaluating like their life, where they were at, and what was important to them.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's probably why I'm moving to Costa Rica. Looking around, I'm like, none of this is terribly important.
Oh, really? Yeah. So when did you decide to move? How many times have you been to Costa Rica?
I've probably been 5 or 6 times now, and I I was thinking about it the end of last year, but it's always something I kind of, it was in the back of my mind, and I started really thinking about it. And then towards the beginning of this year, I really started talking about it and what that would look like and figuring it out. And finally, it was like I toyed around with it for a while. Could I really do
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Talk to my family. They were all like, yeah, go. This is the right time. Um, and one of the things I toyed around with was, if I can just have somebody sublet my apartment, I would totally leave. So I have that security to come back if I
yes,
want to. I
right.
still have all of my stuff here. However, that wasn't an option for me. So I made the decision, okay, I'm just going to go. I'm going to get rid of all of my stuff
Oh, wow.
and I'm going to downsize and I'm just going to go. And also toying around with that decision was a little anxiety ridden. It wasn't easy. It took some time. But once I made the decision, and now once I'm actively like getting rid of stuff, I'm like, this
Yeah.
actually feels so good.
Oh, nice.
We have so much stuff that we don't even look at, or I don't even look at. We just have stuff.
Right,
Like,
right. We
I worked
do.
so hard to buy this. I don't even know. I didn't even know I had it.
Right,
To be honest,
exactly.
like how many shoes do I have? How many
Oh, yeah.
pieces of clothing do I have? And I'm not that much of a fashionista at all. I have my comfortable go-to pieces. As soon as they're clean, I put them back on. That's how I am. So that's the clothes I should have.
Yeah, no, that's so amazing. And you'll be able to continue your business of health and wellness, it sounds like, beautifully then in Costa Rica.
Yeah, absolutely. All the coaching that I do is virtual, that's online. The retreats I'm doing will be online in person. Not, sorry, they'll be in person in Costa Rica. So it's just amazing. I feel just so grateful that I'm going to be able to do that. I love the country so much that to me, it's going to be like Christmas morning all the time. When everyone's getting
Yes,
these awesome presents, like I get to be there to show them this place and
right.
get to be a part of it. And for me, it's going to be like seeing their awesome faces all the time. So
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
selfishly looking forward to that.
Well, no, that's good. So tell us a little bit about some of the services you offer in the one-on-one coaching, because health and wellness is kind of that's a lot of topics.
Yes, it is for sure. So I don't offer fitness. I don't do that part. I do talk about what to eat, what kind of exercise to do. I don't so much do the meal planning. It's, if that makes sense. That's like
Yes.
a whole separate thing too.
Yeah, that
Some people
is.
want the guidance, but my clients are typically people that have the knowledge. They know what they should be doing, especially in today's age. I mean, we have all the information. So sometimes it's just about figuring out what works for you, what kind of foods you should be eating. Forget what the internet says.
Yes, yeah.
How do you feel when you're eating these foods, and experimenting with all of that and getting in movement you like to do. Like I always say, I don't like to do burpees. I'm miserable during doing burpees. Why do I need to do burpees?
Right.
There are plenty of other things I like to do. So I'm going to do those and not be miserable with burpees. And a lot of it is habit change in the programs. And my clients also tend to have something that's keeping them stuck.
Hmm.
And sometimes that's depression or anxiety that they're dealing with, which I definitely relate to. So I'm super compassionate about it because I also live with depression and anxiety. And sometimes it's just they're busy professional and their work is too busy and they have a hard time putting boundaries in place.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just relationship issues. You just have friends that all you do is go out to eat and you go out to party, and you don't have friends to do healthy stuff with, or you're
Right.
hanging out with family and they stress you out and you're eating more, or that's your thing. You're bonding over these things and just these foods that are unhealthy. It's been your connection for so long. So sometimes we have to kind of instill healthier habits in that way. But I have 3-week programs and 12-week programs. The 3-week is really the beginning of the 12-week program. It's more of an introduction to coaching, and that's usually for people that are unsure what coaching is, not really sure, just want to feel it out. So great, I'll offer a 21 day. Sometimes that's enough to get somebody started
Right.
and just get the ball rolling.
Or
Some
get
other,
in, or probably get a new habit even started, like you
oh
were.
yeah,
Because, like you said, if you're
absolutely.
always connecting with people over like going out and drinking, and now it's like you realize, I need to cut back on alcohol or whatever the thing is, sometimes just finding that new friend or someone to be your encouragement, your little person on your shoulder, reminding them. And that
Mhm.
sounds like a little bit of what you're doing.
Right, there's a ton of accountability there. A ton. And so some people love that accountability. And so they will continue after those 3 weeks and finish off the 12-week program. And I do have clients renew as well. My goal is to not have clients renew after their 12 weeks with me. I want you to have the skills. Everything we're working on is sustainable for the long term. But sometimes it is just that piece of accountability. And I'm sure in our self-growth journeys, it's once you work on one thing, it's like something else pops up that now we need to deal with. And it's just, we're never done. It's a constant journey of growth, and it always will be. We will never get to the end until it's the end. There's
Right.
going to be always a next level that we can keep getting to.
Yeah. So how big are the retreats going back to Costa Rica? Because those sound like really fabulous, and I have a lot of travel women that I want to share this with that are, especially as they get to that age where, they don't have maybe their spouse is gone, maybe they're, they never married, but they're in that age bracket where they want to go to somewhere like this, but they are hesitant to go solo. This sounds like a perfect opportunity to go and dip their toe in. Costa Rica sounds like, especially since you're there, that the food is great, there's beaches, all of that. So how many people? Where do they sign up? All that good stuff.
So it's going to be 7 people for each group. The first one is March 1st to March 6th, and the second one is March 16th through 21st. And the best way, honestly, to sign up for it is to just send me an email or connect with me on Instagram. My email is heather@wyattcoaching.com. And my Instagram is @_heather_. Heather Wyatt. And just send me a message saying you want info so I can go ahead and send you the link.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was super spontaneous. So I put it all together, got a landing page up and all this stuff. So now that I've settled and I have my thoughts relaxed, now I can do the actual website. So it is easy to say, you can go on this website for all retreat information. But I want to keep it separate from my
Yeah.
main website. So for
Oh, I
now, we just
understand that.
have
Yeah.
a beautiful landing page, and I will send it to you if you message me.
Oh, that's great, Heather. Well, this has been super informative, and thanks for sharing your tips on travel, on Costa Rica. And we'll put all the email address and the dates in the show notes for people that are watching so they can reach out to Heather and find out if Costa Rica is on their plans for 2024. So thanks, Heather.
Awesome. Thank you so much.